Welcome to Unity of Little Rock's Sunday morning experience, our celebration. And I'm Reverend Beverly Pryor. And let's just take a moment and get centered in prayer. If you'd like to close your outer eyes and just sit still and let that chair fully support your body. Together, let's take a deep breath in and release that breath. And with that breath, we know we're allowing our focus, our attention, our beingness to come into this moment and this time, fully present, fully connected. We've all come here today both to be a blessing and to receive a blessing. And we claim this as our experience of this hour together. And for this and so much more, we simply say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is. So welcome. Glad to see Jeannie back. She's been up there educating kiddos in Eureka Springs. The whole place is smarter and brighter now that you've gotten them all lined out. Welcome everybody this morning. Angel had her event yesterday. Did that go well for you, Angel? Good. Thank you for doing that. Angel had a headshot event, and part of it is a fundraiser for us, which is great, and we appreciate that. And any other ideas you have for fundraising, we are more than welcome to hear all about it. So let's say our opening statement together. There's only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God, the good, the omnipotent. Okay, no first timers with us today, so we'll just breeze right by that. And we'll focus in on our silent unity prayer. So we keep a prayer box here. We've got some slips for you to write your prayers on. There's also one in the entryway. But as you submit your prayers here, we will pray over them locally and then send them on to Unity Worldwide. Someone has been praying at Unity Village at Silent Unity for over 130 years. And it's an amplification of that prayer energy. You can call them, you can receive that audibly, over the phone. You can submit your prayers. There's even an app for your phone where you can get affirmations and prayers. And you can also go to our website and submit a prayer there. The whole process is the same regardless of how you put your intention out there. And there's no degree of prayer, right? There's nothing too difficult or too small for that which we call God. So what Ken is saying is he has called this number for Silent Unity before, and he felt that clear connection and that they really knew exactly what he needed in that moment. And so that's where we were in our process here when we had new people join us this morning. So let's bring our focus back to that moment of prayer. So if you didn't have a chance to write something down or submit it, you could just from your heart send it forth to the prayer box, and then later if you want to write something down. But just know that all intentions, all prayer focus is coming together now. If you'd like to close your eyes, you're welcome to do that. And together, let's take a deep breath in and release. We join in that prayer consciousness that's happening all over the world. The truth, that Christ consciousness. We were taught by our way shower, Jesus, the Christ, that all we have to do is claim our good and have faith. To just know the power and the truth that's on our side. It doesn't matter what our request is for, if it's for relationships or healing, financial. There's nothing too great or too small for that power in this universe that we call God. So in this moment, as we join together, we know truth beyond circumstances. We can see the appearance of disharmony, but we know the capital T truth beyond appearances. And together we claim it in this moment for the highest and best for all concerned. And we simply say, thank you. Thank you for this knowing. Thank you for this knowledge, this understanding. Thank you for truth being immutable and always consistent, always there. The absolute good. And so it is. Amen. Okay, welcome, Betty.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, so Reverend Russ is going to read the daily word for us today. I guess you've turned your own mic on.
Let's see. It is. Oh. Today's daily word is healing. And since we started our Sunday Spirit group and we're focused on healing, it was absolutely appropriate for today. In many ways. Our affirmation is, God's healing power is moving through me. Let's repeat that affirmation together. So, together, God's healing power is moving through me. I am open and receptive to God's healing power within me and within my dear ones. I trust with absolute faith that God is greater than any worldly condition. I cannot limit God. I listen to the still small voice within and feel guided along my healing journey. If fear and worry get the better of me and I start to feel anxious, I call forth the healing power of the indwelling Christ. I spiritually surrender my concerns. When I pray for my dear ones, I do not focus on their condition. Rather, I see them as the divine beings they are, whole, prosperous, and spiritually perfect. As I pray, I receive God's healing presence moving through me and my beloveds. This presence is the health beyond the illness, the abundance beyond the insufficiency, and the life beyond death. It is the truth of my life. And from Isaiah 58:8, your healing shall spring up quickly.
Thank you, Russ. I like that. Shall spring up quickly. And we had a great discussion led by Reverend Russ this morning in our Spirit group. It was, if you don't have the little booklet, you can check the link that Travis put in the newsletter, and you can get it for free from Unity Worldwide. I thought we had ordered some, but if you have trouble getting one, just let us know, and you can text me or call me and I'll help you. Jeannie, any of us will help you get a copy if you prefer. I like paper copies myself. I can read online, but I don't absorb it the same. But yeah, we had really great discussions this morning, and we welcome anybody to join us. I think we had about 6 this morning, didn't we, Russ? That was a nice little group for the discussion. So we're going to have some time of meditation, and you know how I like to do it. I like to play a song to prepare us, to open our hearts and our minds. Then I'll guide you in meditation, and then we'll listen to another song after that. Okay, so if you'll just get comfortable and however you'd like to sit or stand. Oh, before I do that, I just want to say to Catherine and, what did you say, Charlene?
Charlotte.
Charlotte, online. We're not in my kitchen, and I don't know why that background is on this. It was my Zoom, my personal Zoom, I put that background on, but it's showing up on Unity of Little Rock's background on Zoom, but we're here in the church building. we're not in anybody's kitchen. That's not even my kitchen. That's just a background. Anyway, side note, unnecessary, but it was on my mind. So I have to free my mind so we can do meditation. So anyway, let your chair fully support you. And if you'd like, close your eyes. And we'll listen to Karen Drucker. I'll light a candle. Just take a few deep breaths.
I light a candle in your memory, though I don't know who you are. And when I think about your family, I wish upon a star. And I pray that they'll find peace someday. I pray they'll make it through. I'll light a candle in your memory to honor you. I'll light a candle for America. May we feel peace inside. We'll hold each other closer and wipe the tears we've cried. And I pray we'll bond together, and I pray that we'll pull through. I'll light a candle for America, for me and for you. We will light the world with our love. I know we will light the world with our love, with our love. I'll light a candle for humanity, for the good that's yet to come, as we overlook our differences and join now as one. And I pray we'll come out strong in this world I'm dreaming of. I'll light a candle for humanity, to be a world living in love. We will light the world with our love. Know that we can. We will light the world with our love. Every day, in every way, we will light. We will light the world with our love. I know that we can. Know that we will light. We will light the world with our love. I'll light a candle for humanity, for all the good that's yet to come, as we all look our differences and join now as one. And I pray we'll come out strong in this world I'm dreaming of. I'll light a candle for humanity, to be a world that's living in love. I'll light a candle
let's take a deep breath in and release. The breath connects us mind, body, and spirit. And it connects us one with another in this moment. As you breathe in your own rhythm, bring your attention to your breath. Notice at your nostril cell there's a little gap between the in-breath and the out-breath. Now begin to follow that breath as it moves deep within, deeper and deeper still to the very center of your being. In this sacred space, this secret place of the Most High, it's where you know your light, you know your truth, you know you are an expression of the divine. In this moment, allow your focus to be on that light within you. Allow yourself to feel it, to notice it growing, emanating out from your being and connecting with those in this room, going out into the world, expressing in your own unique way. Enjoy the experience of this truth of your being as we spend a moment in the silence. And together, let's take a deep breath in and release. And with that breath, we bring our attention back to this moment and this time. And in gratitude, we open our eyes. So the theme for April is Into the Light. And Jeannie kicked us off last week. And so today I'm talking about creating from the light. And I'm going to talk real quickly about the 5 basic principles because I like to constantly remind us of what they are, right? God is, I am, I think, I pray, I do. Right? God is, say it. God is, I am, I think, I pray, I do. So God is everywhere present. I am, you all, we all are an expression. This is the creative process. These first 2 principles are the initial. If you don't get that, the mind action part of it is, that's the 3rd principle, is definitely going to work, but not as well as you might expect. You're always going to create, right? You can't not create. But when you understand who you are, that you are an expression of the absolute good that we call God, then you become more aware of those choices of your thoughts and your words and your actions that unfold in your life. So this goes back from the original Hebrew scriptures, right? Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 1. We go way back. We like to focus a lot on the New Testament because we love the teachings of the way shower Jesus. But way back when, now Russ, do they still offer the creative process in the Bible as a unity class? I can't even recall. It's been so long since
I've not seen that just specifically that topic. No.
Yeah, there used to be a course where you took all the 7 days and learned metaphysically what this story was about. So in Unity, even though it's the Hebrew scriptures and also called the Old Testament, we don't take it literally, right? We're not saying this is literally what happened. Although we're talking about the cosmos, so we don't know what all could have happened way back in the beginning of time. But it says in Genesis, when God began to create the heavens and the earth was complete chaos and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Very ominous, right? It's dark and things are moving, but we can't see what's going on. But we can relate this to our life personally, right? When we're in this time of chaos and creation, there is a feeling of we don't know what's going on. It could be anything. And in verse 3 it says, then God said, let there be light, and there was light. Again, God is not a him. There's no he to it. It's an energy. But at some point, whether it's the Big Bang or whatever it is, no one was there, so we can't say with certainty exactly. But the energy of the universe, source, is always creating and always wanting. Not wanting in the literal, there are no words, right? That's why the Native Americans call that the great mystery. Because there are no words to truly describe what it is that latent source, that substance, as Charles Fillmore liked to call it, of truth. But there's so many scientists and mathematicians now finding all the patterns of mathematics, and Jeannie's a math professor. She'll get into this, but that the patterns of the universe repeat. This is why we can, as human beings, have dominion over the earth, as Jesus taught us. We have this ability because we can choose our thoughts and our words. So we can create out of what appears to be chaos, what appears to be darkness, we can create light because we're an expression of that which we call God. And in chapter 4 it says, and God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light and the darkness. Again, we, as expressions of God, can put our focus and our attention on that which is good. Last time I spoke, wasn't last week, it was last time I spoke, I was talking about how my nephew called out that he didn't agree that God was good all the time. And that's true. God is neutral, this energy, but with our participation, good is expressed. Now we get to choose how we feel, where we put our attention, what comes out of it. And again, I have been told so many times, oh, you're blaming us. If you're unhappy with something in your life and you feel like what I'm saying right now about your ability to create is making you feel like I'm blaming you, that's not true. We can create to the level of our understanding. When we don't understand how the laws work, we create more chaos than we do it good. But when we learn that we have dominion over our thoughts and our words and our actions, we begin to create more of what we want in our experience. So he called the light day. Again, this is an old scripture interpretation. But the light part is called day, and the darkness called night. But the fact is, in the light of day, there's also darkness, right? Because there's shadows that are created by blocking the light. In the darkness of the cosmos, there are things out there that reflect light, called stars and planets. So there's no absolute of one or the other. So in our life, no matter what we're experiencing, we can know that it's not all that. It's not all good, and it's not all bad. So it's up to us to choose exactly what we want to see. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. So what are evening and morning? Transitions, right? It's not night and it's not day, but it's evening and morning. And have you ever been up at the crack of dawn and seen the sunrise?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks very similar to the sunset, right? Which one is this? Is this a sunrise or sunset?
Both.
Which direction you face?
Yeah, well, yes, if you're standing on land, you can look east or west. But if you're just looking at this, which is it? It's whatever you name. But if you look at it and you say, well, it looks more dark, so it might be sunrise. But it could also be sunset. It's our perspective that makes it one or the other. That's where the yin and the yang we talked about for the Easter service. We did the ceremony where we lit the light and we released the things, our attachment. We didn't release into the pebbles all of the things that we call shadow. We released our attachment to those things because you can't get rid of it. You know, we have insecurities. We have moments where we blame others. We have thoughts that are not always perfectly Pollyanna. But it's the attachment to them. It's the allowing them to become a personality for us that is the concern that we have. When we have compassion for those parts of us. But see, you look at here, it's not just the light and the dark, the yin and the yang, but in the light there is darkness and in the dark there is light. See the little circle? Mm-hmm. So in everything, even though we name it good, we know that in there's a little bit of dark that we don't necessarily like, but we don't reject it and push it away and say it doesn't exist. We accept and we embrace it as a part of the whole. Mm-hmm. There's light and there's dark, there's morning and there's evening. In that transition, we get to choose. Does that make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. I wanted to repeat that because it's that in between, morning and evening. It's not light and it's not dark. I'm in that with a lot of things in my life right now. It's not here and it's not there. I'm no longer this, but I'm not yet that. This is another picture. You can't tell. My niece took this picture in the New Mexico desert. Mm-hmm. Is it evening or is it morning?
You know what is?
It's sand.
Sand.
It's New Mexico desert. I don't know which one.
I would guess evening, but then you really don't know, do you?
Yeah, I think that's a good guess. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, but because they were probably not there at sunrise. She had her sons with her, so I don't think they got up at sunrise. But it's evening and it's beautiful either way. But it's up to our interpretation. What do we see in it?
Right.
There's light in the dark and there's dark in the light. Remember that. No matter what you're going through, there's light in the dark and there's dark in the light. So we might think everything's hunky-dory, but it's not that we have to be afraid of the dark that's in the light, right? We have compassion. We give it our love. Now I borrowed this from Jeannie. She did a talk a couple of weeks back where she was talking about I think this is what you said, the no longer, but in between the no longer and the not yet.
Correct.
So there's that gap, right? You see these, I loved her, trapeze artist. I couldn't find the exact one you used, but these, you can see here, their hands are not connected yet. So he's let go of his one swing and he's reaching out, but the guy hasn't caught him yet. So in between is where that choice point is for us. We're in the evening or the morning. We're in between here and there. It's all up to us what we choose. What are we choosing in the in-between? And we know that fear is just as creative as love.
What you're wearing in that picture is drawing us into it. See how that picture is? And see how you're dressed? The same. The same.
Black and white, yes, yes. I didn't do this by accident.
I know. But it just felt.
Just like on Easter, I
And now
wore black and white instead of me.
presentation this morning.
Yeah,
Very good.
It
Yeah.
fits.
yeah, I'm glad you noticed it fits. It's subliminal for most people, but it's also true. Okay, so in the Revealing Word, which was put together by Charles Fillmore and other enlightened beings, he says this way about light. He says, the understanding principle in mind. That's what light is, the understanding principle in mind. In divine order, it always comes first into consciousness. Light is a symbol of wisdom. So when we say we light a candle, that's the Christ consciousness. And in the song, she began, I light a candle in your memory. But then she's like, I light a candle for our nation. I light a candle for all of humanity. I want that spark of consciousness to ignite, begin with me, but also I see it. If I can see it in myself, then I can see it in you. I can see that pure potential. I can see that there is light regardless. And I know we all have relatives that probably at some point we've looked at them, or maybe we've been that relative that people are looking at going, oh my goodness, what is the chaos? What's going on with you? And if we see in them that little spark, then they can see it reflected to them. They can see it within themselves, but we have to choose that a lot of times. We have to overcome the circumstances and the judgment of whatever's going on, and we have to choose to see that light. But we have that ability, we have that dominion. I'm just going to talk briefly about this because I think it was 2022 I did my first reference to, or made my first reference to the Unalome. The Unalome is my favorite. If I was a tattoo person, I would have this tattooed on my body. I still might. Who knows? I'm not dead yet. I might. But anyway, at the bottom of the Unalome is the spiral. And the spiral is that new thought, that regeneration, that birth. It's universally symbolizes this. So in the beginning, there's a thought, there's a divine idea. And then of course the switchbacks are applying the divine idea, and then the straight line is when you get it, and then dot, dot, dot. But you know what? You gotta start back over here. Once you get that one divine idea, then you get another one. Because our consciousness expands and expands and expands. So it's not just one time. You know, sometimes people like to say they're woke because they had a drug experience or a meditation experience or something that shifted their mindset. Or they heard someone speak. Who knows? But it doesn't just happen one time. You have one moment of enlightenment, one moment of awareness, but then you have more and more and more. The point is to integrate it into your life. When you learn something, apply it. You know that your thoughts are creative. Now, the fifth principle, put it into action. Apply it. So he says, when Jesus said, I am the light of the world, in John 8:12, he meant that he was the expresser of truth in all its aspects. Truth with the capital T, not fact truth, my truth, your truth, but that immutable, just like mathematics in the universe. It's a law. There are spiritual laws, metaphysical laws in place, and the fact that we are creative is one of those laws. But the Buddhists call this the entire philosophy of human existence. Why? Because this is our journey. The whole time we're in this human form, we continue. Rinse and repeat. And finally he says the light, or the inner light, is the illumination of spirit resident in the center of every man's being. The illumination of spirit. Doesn't that just feel good? Own that for yourself. Illumination of spirit. You let your light shine. There's that little song when you're a kid, hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. That's why we're here. We're here to first see it in ourselves, but not to put ourselves on a pedestal, but because when we see it in ourselves, we can see it in others. So the first and second principle, as I mentioned before, God is the absolute good, and I am, or we are all an expression of God. We are all an illumination of spirit. Everybody in this room is an illumination of spirit. Everyone is bringing that into this room, into this moment right now. Now on Easter, I talked briefly about this Cherokee story of the grandfather who's teaching, or the elder teaching the young boy about everybody has two wolves within them. One is white and one is black, and they're battling all the time is what he's trying to teach the kid. You'll have this battle and it'll go on, and I have it within me, you're going to have it within you. And the child said, oh, but which one will win? And the white one is what people usually say, the one you feed is the one that will win. But actually we need to have compassion for the dark one. We can't just feed the light without having compassion for the darkness. Because then what happens to the wolf? The dark wolf gets hungrier and hungrier and more aggressive. So if we try to repress our shadow thoughts, they get stronger through resistance. You've heard the adage, what you resist persists. So you have to have compassion for it. If you do have thoughts that are more chaotic and you return to old behaviors, don't say, oh, I thought I had that. Now look at me. I'm just doing the same old thing again. No, have compassion for that part of you that's still learning, that's still striving to learn.
Boy, that is a lesson for our politics, for the Middle East. You put it anywhere. I really like that, have compassion for the dark.
Yeah. So Jeannie was saying that was a good lesson for politics and for everything that's going on in life. It's not just within us.
Right.
It's everywhere. But when we can see that and have that compassion within us, then we can extend that out to things we don't understand. Because what is it we most fear? Something we don't understand. If we try just a little bit to understand someone else's point of view, and it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. Within my own family, we have people on the political spectrum, all kinds of thoughts. Within my friendships, but you can't judge their thoughts without judging the person. You have to accept that they have a right to have their own thoughts. You have to allow people to be who they are. So I'm going to share, I love Shalana Harkins' poems. I'm going to share another one today called Unflinching Light.
Let us dance.
Yes, Let Us Dance is the book. She has another one that's called something light.
Yeah, she has one
The first
light.
one it's called, I can't think of it at the moment, but yeah. It's Unflinching Light. Set your feet squarely. Look the world directly in the eye and become fully visible. Yes, this power is rare, to bring your heart forward like a precious gem that it is. Yes, the power is rare, to bring your heart forward like the precious gem that it is. Knowing the world may not have yet grown the capacity to properly witness such unflinching light. It requires a special courage that you were made for. Fear not your exposure. What will be revealed in your great willingness to emerge from ancient hiding is the precise encouragement our deep souls all so need to roll the boulders of illusion out of light's way. So, that boulder of illusion kind of makes you think about Easter a little bit, doesn't it? That just went by. So this week your practice is just to allow your light. Just allow it. Allow light in general. Allow your own light, and therefore you will allow the light of others to come forth in your presence. It's very powerful. So how do we do that? We just get quiet and still. We allow ourselves to listen, as Varane was sharing earlier in the discussion group, about just getting still and listening to that knowing that is always there, is always waiting. I hope you don't mind that I shared that, Varane. Sorry, that just came out and I hadn't asked your permission to share that. But give it some space. Look for the balance of what's going on in your life. Celebrate balance. When you see light and dark, or when you know you're in morning or evening, and maybe you don't know which one it is. Am I in morning where something new is coming, or am I evening where I'm moving toward the dark? I don't know. I'm in a transition and I'm not sure what will unfold, but I'm allowing light. And then just appreciate whatever it is, regardless of how it's showing up. Just be. Create from the light. Thank you.
Thank you.